I know I'm not going home. I know why. And it's okay.
This is, for all of us, a one-way trip.
I've made peace with it.
That's why we need each other.
You just need to find someone to be brave for.
And that's where we find our courage.
Need word.
Everyone is an imposter until they're not. It's just part of life.
To risk self to help another.
Dumb.
I'm giving you an opportunity. That's all he needs because he has imposter syndrome.
We're getting there.
Okay. We're doing a live episode, July 30th through August 1st in the Pacific Northwest, and August 6th through 8th in the Upper Midwest.
Life lesson. If you're leaning in to kiss someone and it's interrupted, just say, I'll be with you in a second.
There'll be a Q&A, there'll be merch, there will be VIP tickets where you get to meet and greet us.
What advice do you have for just people who are trying to find their thing?
In the immortal words of Shakira, try everything.
Tickets on sale. Come see us because we want to see you.
Watch movies!
Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy and wants to go to space.
So we're talking about Project Hail Mary. This is a request of our patrons.
If you sign up for our Patreon, you can make us do stuff.
We're your little dancing monkeys.
Not that kind of stuff.
So we're going to be taking a look at Ryland Grace and the concept of imposter syndrome versus cowardice. Is he a hero? No. Not at first. No.
Well, I want to talk about imposter syndrome because a lot of people are seeing imposter syndrome here. I don't actually know the textbook definition of imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, let's get specific. We can't. It's a very vague concept.
Oh, it's not in the DSM-5?
No, this is a construct that just speaks to the notion that I am not what other people think I am, and they're going to find out.
Okay.
I am not as smart as people think I am. I am not as competent as people think I am. And usually you put yourself under the microscope where everyone can examine and see you, and it's a high-pressure situation. Grace's imposter syndrome is I'm not who everyone thinks I am, and we're all gonna die because of it. No one's gonna think less of me because they won't be thinking at all. It's a lot of pressure. But the thing I want to look at for you watching at home and for us is how do we overcome our insecurities to rise to our potential? Because the thing about imposter syndrome is it's generally based on a belief that I can't,
Right.
when usually you can.
That's it, Carl.
Talk to her.
You're taking all this stuff?
At the school you said there were thousands of people more qualified than you, so...
I was being modest.
I don't need modest. I need people who think they're right when everyone else thinks they're wrong. I need people who piss other people off.
That's me.
Do you want to be on the project?
If you think I can help, then
Just answer the question.
I want to help the world.
I lived 2 adults.
Just 3, huh?
Plus the one you killed.
I would take the 3.
Yes?
I'll take the dots.
Get to work, Dr. Grace. The world is counting on you.
Smart Dumb is such a fun thing to play.
Smart Dumb. And Ryan Gosling plays Smart Dumb as well or better than anybody.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is a master, and his performance is great. Rocky's performance from all the puppeteers and the puppeteer who actually does his voice, which is awesome. By far the best performance in this movie is Sandra Hüller. She should get nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
And she should get nominated 5 times.
It's all very dialed down, and she plays it like she's someone who has to be detached on an individual level so she can focus on the macro objective.
Yeah.
But she also betrays with these subtle hints how much she actually does care on the individual level, and she's trying to shut it down.
She cares on the individual level, but she cares on the macro level so much that it just logically overrides everything.
Yeah.
But she also, to the exact extent that is necessary for Ryland Grace's character,
Yeah.
caring and nurturing.
Yeah.
Right? I believe in you, the world is counting on you. Like, she doesn't say, I believe in you. She says, the world is counting on you, and I'm giving you an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's all he needs because he's so desperate for whatever it is because he has imposter syndrome.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're going to get a more complete picture as we play the clips. I don't want to tip my hand and just like say, here's what
Here
it
it
is.
is, yeah.
But what I do see in Gosling's performance, I see in a lot of people who come to my office, especially like a generation younger than us, we're from the 80s. Reagan era jingoism we know how to be arrogant.
Sure.
We know how to just be very, very confident and say, I'm good at this, and that can lead to overselling and under-delivering. For a lot of people from our generation, that's what the imposter syndrome looks like. What I see in people who are a generation younger than us is a lot more like this, a lot more like what he does. You want to be confident but humble. You want to come across as competent, but you don't want to make other people insecure because you know what it feels like to be insecure.
Sure.
This is the type of neurotic thing that shows up in my office all the time right now with clients who are younger than me. And I get it. He works through it. It takes him about 3 hours of film time to work through it.
Well, my question to that then is he worried about how he's presenting himself, or is he just working through his own self-doubts?
False dichotomy. It's both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But being afraid of how you're presenting also is steeped in insecurity. If I have a lot of doubt in myself.
Oh, it's 100% insecurity.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, are people perceiving me the way I perceive myself? Wait, how do I perceive myself?
And that's the biggest fear of imposter syndrome, but just good old-fashioned insecurity is these are the things I see in myself that I don't like or that I think are weaknesses, and I'm terrified that others will see them.
I don't know what that's like at all. Listen, you don't want to get trapped on a spaceship 11 light years away and not have any idea how to solve the problems facing you.
That doesn't seem very likely, but more relatable is you don't want to get trapped in a career that fills you with the dread of
being trapped in a spaceship 11 light years away.
Or even just a career that doesn't fulfill you.
Oh yeah. Southern New Hampshire University can help you start building the future you want.
Today's sponsor, SNHU, is one of the largest online accredited universities in the United States.
With some of the most affordable tuition rates in the country.
Their programs, like Allen, are extremely flexible.
Ooh.
You should see him without gravity.
And help you gain real-world experience so you can stand out to future employers.
We've heard from a lot of you that you are interested in studying psychology like me.
I wonder why that is. SNHU has bachelor's and master's degree programs in psychology.
With several specialty areas, including mental health, addiction, adolescent and child development.
They even have forensic psychology.
Amaze, amaze, amaze.
Is beautiful. And if psychology isn't for you, they've got a ton of other programs as well.
It's never too late to explore something you love. Go to snhu.edu/cinematherapy to explore over 200 degree programs and find your way forward.
So one of the other things I want to talk about is, what is the difference between imposter syndrome and being a coward? And
No.
and accurately being afraid of the vastness of open space.
Right. I love that.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
The animators, they did a very, very good job. Like, the entire VFX team absolutely crushed it in this movie. That was a CG shot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they didn't somehow get him up to space to do this. The animator who did him getting yanked and then spinning around and flailing like a turtle on its back. Mwah. Just whoever you are at whatever VFX house, I owe you a beer.
So what's the difference between imposter syndrome, cowardice, and a justified fear of something, right?
Correct.
It's a Venn diagram with a lot of overlap, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I know you've heard me reference, there's a book I like called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Yep.
And the central thesis of that book is that all of our fears are boiled down to one fear, which is I can't handle it. Whatever you're afraid of, at the root of that is, and I'm not going to be able to handle it.
Right.
And that's human. And as we learn from the Inside Out films, fear is there to keep us safe.
Sure.
It's there to keep us from doing things that are going to get us killed. Where fear comes into cowardice is people are counting on me and they need me to overcome my fear because they're relying on me to do something that I've committed to do.
Yeah.
And I don't like the word cowardice because it's such a judgmental word, but that is what cowardice is.
Yeah.
It's not feeling fear. Brave people feel fear. What makes them brave is that they're terrified.
They feel the fear and they do it anyway.
And they do it anyway, which is kind of what this film is building to, is the journey from cowardice to facing things head on. Yeah. And it's not a tale of overcoming fear. There's no badass moment at the end of the film where he's no longer fearful.
Right.
He's scared shitless the entire movie, which is what makes him so relatable. Mm-hmm. And I would much rather have a hero that is terrified and mildly incompetent while being intelligent, because that's kind of all of us.
Yeah. That's why we love Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones gets punched and his knees wobble and he falls down. He sees he's on a tank that's about to go over a cliff and he panics.
Yeah.
He's not like, well, I'm going to take this like a man. He's scrambling to get off the tank.
John McClane, same thing. It's far more interesting.
You little rascal.
This is oxygen.
I love the
I
little...
still don't think I can do it, though. Sorry.
The puppeteers on Rocky did such an incredible job.
If I'm wrong, I'm really wrong.
Like, he's just enough puppy to be cute, but he's also very clearly smart.
Yeah.
And all of that is just from rods moving a puppet around, like, with no face. Crazy.
I think there is a point in this film where we could justifiably say coward in the kind of the spitting that word out sense.
Sure.
I think here it's just relatable. I don't know that I'd want to take my helmet off.
Dude, it's terrifying. And Gosling's doing a great job playing the absolute, like, oh, jeez, I'm gonna die.
Hats off to the puppeteers, because I'm a recovering arachnophobe, and Rocky should be terrifying. But he chirps and he hops and his head swells and explodes and there's no movie. I love the angelic choir. Okay, so speaking of perfectionists, thinker personality types often struggle with what's known as analysis paralysis.
Okay.
It's the decision-making equivalent of getting up on the high dive and standing there for 20 minutes while the other kids yell at you from down below to just freaking jump.
Because you're thinking about, like, well, by the time I hit the velocity, I'm going to be going 38 miles an hour. And at 38 miles an hour, water is basically just cement.
From 9 feet up, the math doesn't math, but it still feels like you're going to die.
Feels like you're going to die.
Grace absolutely struggles with this. It's the reverse side of the fact that he is so logical, so analytical, so able to come up with solutions that other people aren't seeing. That's a gift. Mm-hmm. The flip side of it is he's going to not make a decision and not act because it's not perfect.
Right.
And all of this kind of bleeds together with the imposter syndrome theory here, because perfectionists are more likely to suffer from imposter syndrome because they see all the flaws, they see all the ways it could go wrong. So how do we work through this? I've been telling people lately that the analysis paralysis is the last 5%. That generally with some thought, some research, some planning, you can get 90-95% of the way there and then get hung up for forever on that last 5%, just locking down the little tiny details.
Yep.
And so I tell people, for most things, you can let that 5% go. For most things, it's not the end of the world. In his case, that last 5%...
It is the literal end of the world.
It is the literal end of the world, so he could be forgiven for really wanting to take his time. But at a certain point, you have to take that leap of faith. At a certain point, you have to trust that I've covered everything that I know how to cover, and just because I'm afraid is not a reason not to do the thing that has to be done.
Right.
And in most situations, not his situation, in most situations, people are like, well, what if I fail? And I always say, failure is just information, it's just data. If you fail because of something that you didn't see or didn't anticipate, well, now you have more information.
Yeah, if failure does not cause death, it was a learning experience.
Exactly. Which is why I have a lot of grace for Grace, because failure will cause death at every turn in this story.
Space is scary.
Space is scary as hell. That's why we're right here.
Commander Yao, I really appreciate what you all are doing.
You would do the same?
I would choose just not to go at all. I don't have the bravery gene that you all have. Trust me.
It's not a gene. You just need to find someone to be brave for.
That's really good advice. But the bravery gene is such a... People are like, oh, it's not how I am, it's not how I'm wired. And they just assume that they're just gonna stay stuck how they are, right? Yeah. It's the opposite of a growth mindset. It's the notion that, like, I am somebody who does this, you are somebody who does that. And there the twain shall meet, because that's not a strength of mine. Mm-hmm. And one of the greatest things I've had to learn in recent years, because I always stayed in the lanes where I felt comfortable. I stayed in the lanes where I felt competent, where I felt impressive, where I felt if people were observing me, they'd think, wow, he's really got it together. And I didn't want people to see the parts where it's like, oh no, it's messy, the messy corners.
Right.
Or the disorganized, or the parts that were, I'm like, man, I really should have learned this years ago and I still haven't, and I'm embarrassed. These are the things that I would hide from people. And the thing that I had to learn that Grace has to learn is, especially now, we live in an era where you can get on your phone and you can watch a YouTube video and learn how to do something. Or you can take an online class, or you can read a book, or you can hire an expert. There's almost nothing that you can't learn to do or grow out of if you so choose.
Right.
The biggest obstacle is the belief that you can't, is the belief that you're stuck, is the belief that this is who I am and I can't grow beyond these borders.
Feeling hemmed in by the borders of your own mind is such an apt metaphor that they actually use in this movie. Did you notice this?
No.
Okay, so the aspect ratio in this movie is all over the place. I'm sure you picked up on that. Maybe you didn't?
I didn't. And
Excellent.
Normally I do.
Excellent.
Normally when films shift aspect ratios, I see it happening.
Yeah.
I think I was so dialed into what was going on that I didn't see it. So tell me about this.
It is very, in some ways subtly done, and in some ways blatantly in your face done.
Okay.
So just in this clip, all of the flashback scenes where he's limited and boxed in by his own beliefs in what he is and what he isn't.
Yeah.
They're all in letterbox,
Okay.
right? So they're in 2:3:5 aspect ratio scope. The rest of the movie is a taller aspect ratio. Depending on where you saw it, it was either Academy or the full IMAX height, right?
Right.
So depending on where you saw it in theaters. But sometimes when you're moving between them, the light will blur out across the letterboxing.
Really?
So it'll blur over the top of it.
Huh.
Which is really fascinating. Like, they're just very clearly just messing with the audience. Like, this isn't real. Not only is it a fun visual gag to do, but it literally informs his character because of what you're saying. He has boxed himself in, and when he's going back to space where he's doing all this important stuff, it's blurring and he's removing the boxes from himself.
Yeah.
Like, it is brilliant.
Growing beyond the confines.
Yeah.
This is a one-way ticket for me, pal.
What?
We had enough astrophages to get here, but not enough to get back.
So what happens, Grace? Question.
Oh, I got enough food to last me at least a couple years. Maybe a couple more if I stretch it out.
So Grace die? Question?
Yeah, once we're done, I'm gonna die.
Why didn't you tell me?
It slipped my mind.
No. Grace say Grace go home.
Listen.
No.
Listen.
No.
Listen. I got to meet you. I got to do all this amazing stuff. I'm good. I've made peace with it.
What mean? What mean make peace?
It means I know I'm not going home. I know why. And it's okay. Thumbs up?
No.
Tiny thumbs up.
No.
We got stars to save. Okay?
Grace,
Yeah.
you are... Need word.
What word do you need?
To risk self to help another.
Dumb.
And of course,
I love this image of him just walking into the darkness and becoming this silhouette of himself.
and of course, we later learn that Grace hasn't made peace with it.
I didn't mean any of that. That's just something you say.
But it's also the concept of fake it till you make it. You commit to an idea, and it helps sustain you through the fear.
Yeah.
It's okay that Grace doesn't fully believe what he's saying right now.
Sure.
Because saying things like, I got to meet you, I got to do all this amazing stuff, and I got to save the world, I got to make a difference, I'm at peace with it, is exactly what soldiers who go into what I call righteous combat, right? There's a lot of war that I just think is needless. Like World War II, D-Day type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone going onto that beach was thinking, you know, I'm really fine with this. But they kept reminding themselves of who they're doing it for.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep reminding themselves of what they got to experience so far. And I think this, I mean, I'm 45, and hopefully I've got many good years ahead of me. But I also think, as I contemplate my mortality, of everything that I have experienced and the people that I've loved and the people who've loved me, And it helps me to be at peace with the fact that this is, for all of us, it's a one-way trip.
Yeah.
You know, none of us is going to make it out of this alive.
That's
and
right.
and having the attitude of gratitude for the people that we love and the experiences that we've had helps us to make as much peace as we're going to make. I love in The Good Place where they talk about
all humans are aware of death. So we're all a little bit sad. All the time. That's just the deal.
I don't think we come to full peace. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are people who are fully at peace with it. But I love that he's trying. Because what's the alternative? To be bitter about it? To be angry about it? To be constantly sad about it? He's choosing to focus on the task at hand and to enjoy the time that he has left with his friend. And we see, I love that they saved this twist until late in the story, but we're going to talk about it here. He said no.
Oh, yeah. No, by the way, maybe the best plot twist in a work of fiction since, like, The Sixth Sense. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
This is not hyperbole.
He said no. He was going to let everybody die because he was so sure that he was not the guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have no other choice. And he still says no because of this genuine fear, this crippling fear of, I can't do this.
Yeah. He never once says yes. They force him to do it.
Yes.
It is brilliant.
And that's the moment that's cowardice. But that's also the thing that is really, really relatable is we all get scared of commitments that we make or things that are foisted upon us that we don't ask for.
Yeah.
We all feel like we don't measure up. We all feel inadequate.
Well, and this is where imposter syndrome, to me, becomes a little bit silly. Like, everyone is an imposter until they're not.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No matter who you are or what it is that you choose to do or the people that you choose to hang out with, when you first get to whatever your situation is, you're an imposter. You don't actually belong there yet.
Yeah.
You don't belong there until you've made the connections, until you've gained the knowledge, until you've gained the experience. But the only way to make the connections and gain the knowledge and gain the experience is by being there.
Yeah.
Is by being with those people, is by doing those things. And so we all have to be an imposter. It's not a syndrome. It's just part of life.
Yeah.
Probably part of death.
Yeah.
Like, we're all scared of it. We don't know what's going to happen. And maybe it's, you know, nothing, and maybe it's something wonderful, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's going to happen to all of us.
To the point you made a second ago, I think what makes it a syndrome is the belief that you're alone on Imperfection Island.
Right.
We were talking about how we love this character, Indiana Jones, John McClane. It's also true of people in real life. That we are drawn to people who, like us, are scared. We are drawn to people who, like us, screw up royally and then try to make it right.
Everyone loves a flawed hero. Nobody likes a perfect villain.
It's true. And a perfect hero doesn't exist.
Right.
The more we can all just kind of be genuine and authentic and say, here's what I'm good at, here's what I've learned, here's what I've struggled with, we actually gain respect. We don't lose it. I don't believe in perfect people, but I do believe in good people, and good people are trying.
Yep.
Warning, exterior temperature elevated.
Let's stack more problems on top of these many problems we already have. I love this sequence!
And you had already read the book.
Yeah.
And it's still intense as hell.
Yeah. So good.
No break will die. Can repeat missions, can try again later.
I don't think there is gonna be a later.
There are some things that movies just do better than books. There's things that books do better than movies. A tense action sequence is better in a film than it is in a book.
Yeah.
You can't have that sound effect in a book.
You can't have this pulsating score in a book.
Right? I'm here. Amaze.
Amaze! Grace is actually brave here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he has been an imposter to this point. Like, he's done several spacewalks. Obviously, the first one, that wasn't imposter syndrome. He was an imposter.
Yeah. It was
He'd never been in space before.
It was more of a space bungee experience.
Which honestly sounds like a lot of fun. But he's riding a rocket ship onto an alien planet on the outside.
Yeah.
Like a badass.
Like a total badass. But I think of that first spacewalk. I think of how that nope. I think of how terrified he was. Part of overcoming imposter syndrome is embracing the rookie phase.
Sure.
It's embracing, I'm new at this. I'm out of my depth. I lack the experience. It feels uncomfortable and scary. And leaning into it instead of running away from it.
Yeah, I've never hung off the side of a spaceship plunging into an alien planet to grab a Taumiba collector. What I have done is float around in space before.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that.
And what I like to tell people, and I think about a lot myself, is everything that you're good at now, you once sucked at.
Yeah.
So trust in your capacity to learn new skills. Trust in your capacity to gain the experience. I think it's very natural. We don't want to look incompetent or inexperienced.
Sure.
We want to show up and impress people because we've got in our head that if people are impressed, then they'll like us and we can feel comfortable. That's not the way to comfort, though. The way to comfort is being comfortable in your own skin, saying, this is where I'm at. I am choosing to learn and grow and continue onward. And I'm going to make mistakes and be a rookie for a while.
It's also, by the way, not the way to get people to like you. People don't like people who are impressive. They're impressed by people who are impressive. People like people who are unimpressive but are trying anyway. Trust me, I am a professional storyteller. The way you get an audience to like a character is you show them trying to do something that you want them to succeed at, and they fail, and then they try again.
Yeah.
That is guaranteed a way to get an audience to like a character. Similarly, it's a way to get people to like you.
Yeah.
If you can show, I'm trying to do this thing, wow, I sucked at it. Let me try something else.
Yeah.
People will like you for it. And he gets to see that Rocky has sacrificed himself for Grace.
Yeah.
That bravery from his friend changes him, right? Like he has been changing, but that's the inflection point of his character where he goes, okay, I'm going to be like that. And then he gets tested a whole bunch. This is like classic storytelling structure, right?
Yeah.
Like he makes the choice at that point, like, okay, I am brave now. I will be like Rocky. I will be brave.
So they did it, and they're celebrating.
Wow.
In the room that I want.
It's special clothing for celebration.
I have to up my game.
What is this?
You don't mind?
Rocky, get
There
one.
you go.
Rocky, get one.
It's good.
Oh yeah. Not much, just a little something. Very own laptop.
My portable earth thinking machine.
With all human knowledge.
Thank you.
And just one more thing.
Yes? What's this?
It's Earth. So you can remember me.
It's rare to have a film
Rocky can't forget.
be this cerebral and be this fun and be this
I
heartfelt.
didn't get you anything.
You gave me everything.
No longer feel like an imposter. No longer feel like what everyone expects me to be and who I actually am don't line up.
Yeah.
That comes from experience. It comes from a willingness to learn. It also comes from the ability to say, I'm terrified, I'm scared shitless, but I know who I'm doing this for. And that could be the people you care about. Honestly, it could also be for yourself. To care enough about yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to not be pushed around by this fear anymore.
Yeah. And if you want a whole bunch more heartwarming scenes and to learn what it is that makes Ryland Grace step out of imposter syndrome or cowardice or whatever it is that we've decided he has into being a brave friend, we have an entire episode exclusively about the friendships that make Ryland Grace the man he is. Friendship with Rocky and the friendship with Strat, which people don't talk about as much, but it's just as important to his character. That is an exclusive over on our Patreon. So if you go there, you can watch it. And there's a bunch of other stuff, like an extended director's cut of this episode, which will be significantly longer.
He's looking at a long, slow, painful death.
A lot of plot mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Rocky's gonna die. He's not gonna make it back to his home planet, and he's gonna die.
I love that this big moment of deep, rich emotional drama is based on we did the math wrong.
Yeah. I love that in order to figure out what it's going to take to save Rocky, he erases who am I.
You can't do both. I can go home, or I can save Rocky.
Like, talk about stepping from cowardice into bravery. He literally erases himself to save his friend on a whiteboard.
It shows he already knows what decision he's going to make, but he has to prepare and he has to summon the courage to do
I
it.
sent you detailed logs of all of our findings and enough Talmiba for you to start your very own Talmiba farm. At least I never have to hear you say, I told you so. Even though you were right.
He's talking
Right about what?
He's talking to Strat, who forced him to go into space because she knew he'd be able to save the world. Or she thought.
She really hoped. Sometimes that's all you have, but she believed in him more than he believed in himself.
Yeah.
And that's what he's saying.
And
is,
she was right.
you were right. I had it inside me. I could do it. Listen, there are strengths and skills that come more naturally to some people than others. When he talks about the bravery gene, I don't have the bravery gene. I have the book smart lab gene, right?
Yeah.
There are things that we're all better at than others. That's why we need each other. That's why we're communal. That's why we work as teams and as families. It doesn't change the fact that whatever you think you can't do, odds are you can learn to do some variation of it.
Right.
I'm 45 years old. I'm not going to play in the NBA. I've made peace with that. Real peace, not grace peace, like actual.
Yeah.
So we all do have limitations. But generally speaking, we think our limitations are here when they're way out here. We just need to grow into them.
Right.
And to grow into them, we have to overcome the fear of looking foolish. We have to overcome the fear of being judged and just step into, hey, this is where I'm at. And I'm going to start taking the strides right now to learn and grow and become who I want to be.
Yeah.
And that's where we find our courage, is in making that decision. And also, speaking of community, in the people that we choose to be brave for.
Man, Project Hail Mary is a masterpiece. It was such a pleasant surprise. Like, this is the reason that I love movies. Like, a big, giant blockbuster that should be some soulless corporate product is a super heartfelt thing that we're learning a lot from, that also happens to be perfectly structured from a story standpoint, and beautifully photographed in an incredibly artistic way, and edited in, like, the editing in this movie is mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
Like, it's propulsive, but feels contemplative, even though nothing lasts more than about 3 frames. Like, it's just, I am in awe of this movie. I love it. I hope you love it too. And let's all go to space.
So until next time, guys, I've been here for forever, and he just won't leave me alone. He is everywhere that I am.
Who are you talking to?
Okay, I need to talk softer, because otherwise he's gonna hear this.
I can hear you.
And watch movies. Amaze. Shout out and thank you to our patrons over on Patreon who get extended commercial-free Director's Cut episodes.
And selected this one for us to do.
Folks like
Paul Meixner,
Trinity Thomas,
Will Tour,
Sid Bear,
and Master of Disaster.
Watch movies.
Watch them. Amaze.
Amaze.